I have always liked being outdoors ever since I was a little kid. I've always been like foraging is, just kind of goes along with that, just like learning about what the plants are and what you can eat. Reading this Native American ethnobotany book, I was just looking up what tribes lived in this region and what plants they used for what. So I was looking for plants in Texas and found out that Native Americans around here used yaupon, which is their only access to caffeine. It's the only caffeinated plant native to North America. Yaupon it's a native shrub that grows all along the Gulf Coast. Here in central Texas, we're about as northwest as it grows, but then all along the Gulf Coast and then up the Atlantic coast to Virginia. It's an evergreen. It has little red berries in the wintertime. And like I said, it's the only caffeinated plant native to the U.S. It's very, very hardy. It's a relative of the South American yerba mate, which is a really popular caffeinated beverage from South America. Native Americans used to roast it into really dark tea, and it has kind of a roasty, smoky flavor to it. You can treat it all different ways to get all kinds of flavors. So all the caffeinated teas in the world, like green tea, white tea, black tea, oolong, pu'er, like all those teas, they all come from the same plant. It's the same species of plant, and all those flavors all come from how it's grown, where it's grown, and how it's processed afterwards. So found out you can pretty much do the same kind of thing with yaupon too. So I started trying to find out what yaupon was, and at first I thought this must be awful if nobody's, if it's a caffeinated plant, everybody loves caffeine, and if it's all over the place here, it must taste awful, if nobody's using it. So I went and found some, and started experimenting with it, and it's really, really delicious. Tastes a lot like tea. So if it's tasty caffeinated beverage, I thought, you could make money with it. My name is Jason Ellis. I'm one of the co-founders and co-owners of Lost Pines Yaupon Tea. This is all freshly harvested yaupon. It's going to sit here for about a week before we remove it, and then it'll look a lot like this. This is completely unroasted. It's pretty dry, brittle already. And then this is our light roast, which tastes a lot like a green tea. It's just roasted just for a little while. And then we have a darker roast, which we leave in the oven for a little bit longer. But yeah, the dark roast has a kind of a roasty taste, really similar to a black tea. And then the light roast is gonna be a lot closer to a green tea. But both of them have a lot less tannins than traditional tea. So it has a lot smoother finish at the end. It smells really good too. Yeah, harvesting the yaupon it's a lot of work. It's the understory to the Lost Pines forest here. So it's native, it's meant to be here. If you have a pasture or a field and you let it go fallow, you don't maintain it anymore, the first woody plant to come back is yaupon, and it just becomes a huge thicket. It takes over the entire thing. One of the most fun things about making the yaupon is roasting it. We roast it in the oven, and you can we make a light roast and a dark roast, and then as it's roasting, you can smell the flavor change, and you can almost cook by sense of smell. Yeah, our company is very socially, environmentally conscious. It's still becoming more popular. Like, people haven't heard about it to just a few years ago for a lot of people. It's all pesticide free. We're not labeled organic, but it's wildcrafted. It's beyond organic as far as I'm concerned.